welcome to another episode of AP Taylor Swift, the podcast for Swifties who like to dive a layer deeper into the music. So lean in close, turn up your volume, because class is in session. We're your hosts. I'm Monsi.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jody.
And we are your unofficial professors of Taylor Swift.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of AP Taylor Swift. This week we are doing a deep dive of So High School. This is a continuation of last week's episode, which was either about high school or High School Musical, depending upon which one of us you actually are.
High School Musical.
Okay, yep. See, we know which team Jen is on and which team I'm on. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I recommend you go back, listen to that one, and then come on back here. But before we go into the song, Jen, you want to tell us how we do a deep dive?
Yeah, so we will be thinking about who's the author, who are they speaking to, and what's the overall purpose of the song. And at the end of the episode, we will each say what we think the purpose is, and if we agree or disagree, or if Jody and I keep fighting. We'll see.
You and I never fight.
It's Taylor Swift, written for her fiancé. End of episode. Goodbye. I'm
Bye.
leaving.
She wrote this song exclusively so she could use the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married."
It's funny now because we don't do rumors, but this is definitively not a rumor,
it's
so
not
we
a
can
rumor.
bring it up. It's great.
Which is great because I think when this song came out, we did cover this song in some of our summer school episodes from season 1. So back in 2024. I have no concept of time, but we covered this song a couple times there. And obviously there are allusions to Travis and we cover what is well known, but we like to cover these songs not based on who she wrote them about, because that's not what makes these songs iconic and amazing to us. What makes them amazing is what they mean to us. But yeah, it is fun to also bring in the real life, what we know, which are not rumors. So before we dive into the song, this was from the Tortured Poets Department. It came out in 2024. This is track 22, so it was on the anthology, and it was written by Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner. I actually find it really interesting that it's written by Aaron Dessner. I don't know that I would have expected this to be an Aaron
hilarious.
song. Right.
I almost said that in last week's episode, and I was like, I'm saving it for the deep dive.
Well, I actually wrote TSJA, even though I was reading it said Aaron Dessner, and I was like, I just always assumed this is like so Jack Antonoff. But this song, and maybe I think that because especially of like the songs that he's done with Sabrina Carpenter, like this almost feels like a Sabrina Carpenter song.
It totally does.
So High School. Do we talk about the title or do we just go into the lyrics?
Yeah.
The fact that it's not I feel so high school and everything, but it starts with so. It feels high school.
It feels so high school. It
yeah.
feels very Clueless.
Hair twirling.
I thought of Clueless as well.
It's very Clueless.
I think
It totally evokes that immediately.
Right.
other songs that start with So Yesterday by the amazing Hilary Duff.
Icon.
To me, it's a way of signaling something in the past. Like that was so yesterday. That was so last week. That was so
It's an
high
emphasis.
school.
I don't know that it says high school past me, but it says like emphasis.
Well,
If someone says something is so high school, I actually normally would think of it as derogatory.
Yeah.
If two people are gossiping, I'd be like, dude, that's so high
That's
school.
so
You
high
don't
school.
need to
So
be doing
immature.
that.
That's so 2020.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and the reason I was saying past is because it is always referencing to something in the past, and basically you're saying that's so from another time.
It's over.
It's over.
We've
That's
done
so
that
behind.
before.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
So last
Yes.
year.
Yes. And I think to me it also evokes like, oh, people, when I lived in California, people would be like, oh, you're so New York.
That's true. I wouldn't have thought about it that way. Nobody's
Right?
ever said that to me.
Or that's so American. Isn't that an Olivia Rodrigo song? So American.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like you're emphasizing the
You're
quality.
putting it in a box.
You're
Yeah.
emphasizing the quality that is evoked by this person or by this situation.
Also,
Mm.
total side note, but you
Everything
said
in
Hilary
this
Duff.
podcast is a
I
side
know.
note.
But you said Hilary Duff earlier, and something was twisting in the back of my brain. I read recently that
New
she's
music.
making new music.
Stop
Yeah.
Yes.
She's here to save the summer. I saw a meme that was like Hilary Duff said, I need to save the summer. Hold on. I'm coming.
Hold my beer. This episode comes out in December. It's not summer, but here we are.
Yeah.
So I feel so high school every time I look at you.
Yeah, so here the use of so high school is different than what
Correct.
the title suggests. We're not
Yeah.
saying so last year, so New York, so American. She's saying, I feel so high school.
And we go to feelings, which I think, Monty, you had brought up last
Yes.
episode about
This song is
previously love songs were more about what she thought love would be about when she was in high school. And now it's how I feel
yeah,
in
and
this
if
love.
she's giving it a name, she's giving the feeling a name. The feeling is high school. She's saying, I feel so high school. And so then what does high school feel like? And to me, this song is answering that question. That's my purpose. Thank you. I'm leaving. I'm just
Okay, great. 6 minutes. That's our shortest episode yet.
This is a line-by-line analysis, and by that we mean the first line.
The first line and scene. But I also, like, what does that mean to feel so high school?
Exactly.
To me, that's already telling me that, like, this is going to be more of a stereotypical high school experience, because how else could you feel so high school? When someone calls me so New York, they're probably coming with stereotypes of what a New Yorker is like.
That's a good point. Point to
So
clarify, though, is it's not all the time. It's
it's just every time I look at you.
every time I look at you.
And go ahead, Jen.
The music is also, I think, doing a lot of heavy lifting here
The
because
music is iconic.
this could be super negative. Saying I feel so high school when I look at you could be like I feel immature, I feel insecure. We talked about that so much last episode of how high schoolers often feel insecure. Classic Jen, in the Hills, Lauren Conrad goes on a date with Steven, who she dated in high school as an adult.
times. I love it.
The Hills was incredible and very important to me personally.
Why didn't we have a Hills episode?
Because
I have never, I still don't know what the Hills is.
Okay.
Stop it.
Well, whenever
Monty.
we do an on-site, we'll just watch The Hills and
That's
the High
all we're
School
gonna
Musical
do.
films. It's going to be incredible. And it'll be the best few days of my life. But the point of it is Lauren goes on a date with the guy she dated in high school. And after the date, she's talking to a friend, and the friend is like, do you want to go on another date? Like, are you guys reconnecting? And she was like, I don't know. I just felt like I was back in high school again, and I'm not that person anymore, and I've moved on, and I don't really want to do that. So I feel so high school can be great. It could be bad, but I think the music tells you immediately this is a good feel song. This is not bad things aren't happening here. And I think that's really important because the context of that line can change a lot of things.
Yes, definitely. I agree. It's very bubbly and it's just good vibes.
I'm trying to look up what it says about, like, what the style is, because we know nothing about that. A pop rock, power pop song. It's an indie rock, slacker rock, and power pop song.
Slacker rock. Are these real genres?
I don't know. It has a 1990s alternative rock feel.
Yes.
Which is exactly what it feels like. And then
And
People, Jack Irvin from People labeled the song as a sonic throwback to Swift's 2008 album, Fearless.
Yeah, okay, so I was just going to say, like, if it feels so high school, and we're trying to figure out what does high school feel like, well, when she was in high school, she did give us an album called Fearless, and so, I don't know, I'm just saying. Like, we talked about this a little bit in the last episode of, like, kind of how it changes and how it's different, but if we're talking about the feeling, to me, I'm sensing there might be, or my hypothesis would be that there's a sense of recklessness and fearlessness, and I do think that kind of comes across.
Yeah. But I agree with Jen that the whole idea that this could be negative continues with these lyrics.
Yes, I was just going to say, again,
I want to find you in a crowd just to hide from you.
Yeah.
Like, we still don't know.
That takes me back to going to a football game or something to see your crush, but then be like, I'm absolutely not talking to that person.
Right? You're literally
Never would I
going
talk
to
them.
see them, and then you're like, no, I'm not walking up to them. Why would I walk up to them and say something?
Visually see them. That's the goal.
Yes.
That's the beginning and
the
end of
same
the to-do
space.
list.
We already feel so high school, guys, just talking about it. I love that.
But it does evoke that sense of butterflies and being nervous excitedness of a crush, those kinds of
and
things.
Just see that person everywhere. Like, did you guys have this experience where that person just appears everywhere and you're just like,
yes. And what I'll say is, as an adult, dating when you start to like someone, it feels that same freaking way, and you definitely still feel so high school. Like the emotions take you right back, and you're like, "Oh my god, really? Why do I feel like a child again?"
Yeah, which is exactly what the song is about. It's like, how
Right.
have I been transported back in time?
Right.
We have the two characters here. We have you.
Thank you for
Very
grounding us in
clear.
rhetorical triangle.
Very clear two people.
And
Okay,
then
I love this next first line. And blech,
Can I read the whole thing?
please,
I think
just
I
read
was
the
gonna
whole
say
thing.
we should just read this whole
Yes.
section.
Okay. And in the blink of a crinkle, Jesus Christ, this is going to
Yeah.
be quite the thing to read. And in the blink of a crinkling eye, I'm sinking our fingers entwined, cheeks pink in the twinkling lights. Tell me about the first time you saw me. I'll drink what you think, and I'm high from smoking your jokes all damn night. The brink of a wrinkle in time, bittersweet 16 suddenly.
This is to me where it's really, I mean, she says, I feel so high school. So it's not saying I'm in high school, I feel high school. However, this is where we're like, oh, this is truly an adult feeling the nostalgia and the feelings of high school. Because in a blink of a crinkling eye is a line, are eyes that have laugh lines, that have wrinkles. That's not something you really have when you're in high school. So it's immediately placing these as two adults who are feeling
and
this way.
I love this line because, well, first of all, just the sound, the poeticness of it,
Yeah,
the
the
blink
internal
of a crinkling
rhymes.
eye. Yeah, but what you said about the crinkling eye, that like little hint of the fact that we're adults, and just we also use the phrase "in a blink of an eye" all the time. I feel like I was in high school yesterday sometimes, and it feels like a lifetime ago, but at the same time, it feels like it was just in the blink of an eye. And so I just love that play on words and the acknowledgement of the fact that we're old.
I love how the internal rhyme continues
Yes.
through
I was
this
gonna say that.
entire thing. It makes it so catchy and satisfying. And I don't know why.
It paints a picture that the K sound is such a strong sound, so it's really keeping you
ink.
pulling in. Yeah, so blink of a crinkling eye, and then I'm sinking, our fingers entwined. Sinking is interesting to me because I think it's evoking the idea of falling in love, but instead of falling, it's more sinking, and sinking is more gentle and more being like cushioned and covered instead of falling, which can be a violent.
Okay, but I also felt like the sinking feeling of like, like your heart is pumping fast. Like it's a roller coaster. There's like these crazy
I don't
ups and
know.
downs.
I feel like sinking into somebody, like when you're cuddling and you just kind of like relax into them.
Yeah,
Well,
I
our
mean,
fingers entwined.
our fingers are entwined here, and it's just like that feeling of like drowning in
lovely.
something. Yeah, totally.
But like in a good way. Yeah,
Yeah.
cheeks pink, blushing in the twinkling lights.
The twinkling lights
Football.
is interesting.
Friday
We've
night
had that
football.
before. It could be football for sure.
It makes me think of I don't know if this is still a thing or if it was a thing for you, but there was definitely this like millennial high school trend where we all were putting up like Christmas lights in our bedrooms like year round.
Yeah, but I
did
feel
not.
like I think more about football lights, like Friday night lights, Friday nights.
Didn't we have twinkling lamplight in Is It You Are in Love? We've talked about
We get twinkling and gold rush. Gleaming, twinkling, eyes like sinking ships on waters.
Also, like starry nights. It could just be outside, like being
Yeah.
outside when you're
had the
younger.
lights reflect on the chain around your neck and You Are in Love.
It could be under the stars, because when I think of twinkling, I also think of like twinkle,
Yeah.
twinkle.
But I
Yeah,
think
totally.
all of these, what we're getting at are these very clear pictures of moments, like painting these pictures of all kind of just lovely, romantic or
Mm.
nostalgic if it's in the twinkling lights of a football game.
Apparently, in the in the lyric video for this song, apparently it looked like
There are
football
twinkling
lights.
football lights, yeah.
Well, it also, we get the lights refract sequin stars off her silhouette every night, and I can do it with a broken heart. So there's also the twinkling lights of the Eras tour and her sequins, and also all of our bracelets when we were in the audience.
So lots of twinkling lights and a lot of different
Just
things.
so many twinkling lights.
Which, okay, cheeks pink in the twinkling lights. Tell me about the first time you saw me.
It's football lights, guys.
Except that he saw her on stage at the Eras tour. Just saying.
In a football field, though. I don't know.
Also, while it is fun that we can make it about them, it also
It's
doesn't
not.
have to be. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
What we're
Yeah.
getting at is for each of us, these twinkling lights evoke something different.
Something different.
Yeah.
But it's nighttime and there's some light, like
There's twinkling
romantic
lights.
light.
That's romantic.
Ambient
Tell me about the
vibing
first time you
lights.
saw me. That is such a thing that you say when you're like, you want to know, what did you think about me when you first saw me?
Yeah, I think there's something really sweet in that question because it tells you that they've been together long enough that the first time you saw me would be a story and that you're comfortable enough with the person. You don't
To
ask
ask
someone
the
on like
question.
this. Yeah, you don't ask someone that question on date 2. You ask someone when you're together of like, okay, so from your point of view, what was it like the first time you saw me?
Yeah.
Or if you're me and Chris, we're both like, I vaguely remember you were there. So that was nice, I guess.
Christian and I talk about this story all the time. We were talking about it recently, but it has kind of become a thing of lore of like, there's a word in some language, I don't know, I see this on Instagram all the time, of like, as an adult, like there's a feeling that you get when you meet people and you just know that that person is going to be significant. Like people say it for friendships and people say it for relationships.
Yeah.
There's like
I
a
still
word
just
for
use
it.
the word. I just use the word chemistry. That's what I tell people.
Well,
say
chemistry for
platonic
sure, but chemistry means more. Like chemistry means you have good chemistry, but there's like a feeling that you get where it's like it's a spark essentially, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm saying I
fly.
still use chemistry knowing it doesn't fully capture it, but I know the
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
I just use a word that
Yeah.
doesn't totally
No,
get
there's
it.
some foreign language where there's an actual word for it, and I don't know what it is. I'll find it. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes.
I'll drink what you think, and I'm high from smoking your jokes all damn night.
She loves using drugs and alcohol as a metaphor for love. We need to do an episode on this because it
On
comes
drugs,
up.
because we are experts.
Well, just more about the metaphor. Yeah, the
correct.
continued
That's
use of
all
metaphor.
We're
Dude,
experts in
she's
metaphor.
not an expert.
Hi, I mean,
we don't know, but I highly doubt she's truly an expert on this either.
she could be.
She's got to be in peak health to do everything to be Aristotle.
Yeah,
So
not in the last couple of years she hasn't been, that's for sure.
But I agree with you. We have seen her time and again.
Mm-hmm.
Lord save me, my drug is my baby.
Yeah.
Use drugs and alcohol to describe the feelings of being in love. But here it's, I'm high from smoking your jokes, which I just thought was a love, like,
I love that.
That's
like
hilarious.
the line ends in, I'll drink what you think and I'm high. And if it just left there, people would be like, clutching our pearls. Oh my God, she's high. And it's, I'm high from smoking your jokes all damn night, which is like,
Well,
way
it's
to
a
go,
play on
Taylor.
smoking a joint. The jokes,
Correct.
like to me,
Yeah.
it's like the same word sound. It's just so clever. It's like
clever. It's great wordplay.
It's a great.
Well, and it
wordplay.
also, so many of her love songs, we've talked about these. She has songs in Reputation about like these older boys, I can play them, whatever. And then I found someone who's like this intellectual match. And then in Mastermind, she found someone who actually understood it. And it's like she started out wanting fantasy, and then she wanted someone who was an actual match for her. And then she here is wanting someone who she just likes talking to and has fun with.
Who she feels good with.
Exactly. Like, I'll drink what you think. So like they're still having conversations. I'm super into what you think. I enjoy this. And I'm having a good time. I'm laughing. This is fun. It's such an interesting progression from just musically what she has proposed as the thing that she's looking for or what love is.
Which I think is just so realistic because what we say we're looking for is never what we actually want because it's so hard to articulate that until you found it. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's it. The whole time. I just couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
And then she gets into, I don't think it's a literary reference, but man, if we can connect this book to the song, it would be great.
I feel like I can.
I believe in you. So she gets into the brink of a wrinkle in time, bittersweet 16 suddenly. On the surface, I think this is just saying something about this moment feels like I'm just about on this wrinkle in time where I actually really feel like I'm 16. That time is kind of folding in on itself a little bit in this moment.
Well, that and I think
go for it, Monzi. Make this comparison.
No, I mean, I feel like, first of all, I think this could be considered high school reading. I read it when I was in middle school, but people could read it in high school.
Madeleine L'Engle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Madeleine L'Engle. Wrinkle in Time. I mean, I don't know. Did the word come? Did this idea of a wrinkle in time exist before the book?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. because it's an old book. It's from 1962. And I think that Wrinkle in Time is like basically, to me, it's going back in time, right? So you're like starting at the exact same point, like going in the story. I think they're going back in time and restarting something. And so
I
it's
don't
like
know
a
if
blip in the time continuum where you almost can go back and do something different than maybe what you did the first time.
I don't know if the phrase "a wrinkle in time" was really common, but she did read things like Einstein's theory of relativity and quantum physics and cosmology as research as she was writing the book. So it is all based on scientific theories, but I'm not seeing anything coming up about the phrase "a wrinkle in time"
Yeah.
being
It
a super
says,
popular, commonly used phrase.
yeah, but okay, so yeah, it's saying that refers to the distortion or interruption of a smooth
Yeah.
flow of time. And then I don't know what the origin is, but clearly,
It
like,
is
this book
definitely
is, I mean, this book, the story is that, right? Like, where they go back in time
yes.
and or they are able to like change something. I don't remember the exact story, but it like the whole point is that they're able to go back and change the outcome
Right.
of something because they
And
go back to that
explore. Yeah.
exact
Yeah.
position. And I think to that end, the song is about feeling like you're going back in high school. When she was in high school, there we have so many love songs. We have stories of dating football players and whatnot, and it not working out and it not being good, and there was so much heartbreak and stuff. And it feels like to me of this moment where you can like go back in time and restart again here and maybe have a different ending. So to me, it actually is referring very closely to what happened in the book, but I guess it would depend on if that concept predates the book or existed outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely the book is why it's part of our common lexicon, so I think it
Yeah.
is. I think the actual, like, core plot of a young girl becoming a leader and all of her buildings of the main character is maybe not as much of a direct correlation to the song, but the
No, but
concept
I
of A
think
The
it's
Wrinkle in
that
concept
Time,
of a
yes.
wrinkle in
I
time.
think it's
Yes.
Yeah.
that act of going back in time all of a sudden
Yeah.
and like being able to like a blip in the time continuum.
I also think it's really self-aware perhaps that she says bittersweet 16 suddenly
Mhm.
because so much of this is positive, but she does have this moment of awareness of being 16 again or feeling 16 again is a bittersweet feeling. And whether that's because 16 was a bittersweet time or you age and the concept of time, I don't, but that there is this moment in there in the song of this is fun, this is great, but there's some bittersweetness to this feeling, whatever may be causing that
Yeah. I
feeling.
think the idea of a sweet 16 assumes that everything is hunky dory and beautiful
Mhm.
when you're 16. And the reality is it's not. It's bittersweet to be 16. It can be really hard emotionally. And I agree with you. There's also this idea of reflecting back on being 16 is bittersweet, potentially because this wasn't what it was like at
Yeah.
all to be 16.
I also wonder if it could be referring to just like the time lost, maybe, of like now you're suddenly back there, but it's like
Mm.
a little bittersweet to like, why did things have to go so wrong before they finally went right? Like maybe that's a bittersweet kind of feeling.
It's really just kind of a moment though, and then
Yeah.
she moves on. So
Yeah.
I'll read the next section.
Which I think is the chorus. The
I
internet's not really clear on it.
I'm watching American Pie with you on a Saturday night. Your friends are around, so be quiet. I'm trying to stifle my sighs. 'Cause I feel so high school every time I look at you, but look at you.
Do people still watch American Pie
I think boys do while they're with their bros.
while they're with their girlfriends? Like,
No, he's with your friend. Your friends are around, so be
I know,
quiet.
but
Like,
she's with it. She says, "I'm
yeah,
watching American Pie with you on a Saturday night." Is this
because
quality
it
entertainment?
feels like she's, he's having a night with his friends and she's there, right? Like they're sharing in each other's friend
Yeah.
groups, and this is how he hangs out with his friends. And I think that's also a very high school thing. What your dates were often, friend hangs.
It is a high school thing. My question is that what we're doing in present day?
Well, I could also totally see it being like you start dating a guy and he brings up an American Pie reference and you're like,
And
"Oh,
you're
I've
like,
never
I've
seen
never seen
American
it.
Pie." And he's like, "You've never seen American Pie? That was my favorite movie in high school. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
will you watch it with me? I'd love to revisit
Yeah,
it." And it's like, "Yeah, sure."
I
I've
guess
definitely done
I
that.
guess I just wonder if it is actually happening in the present or if it's actually happening in the past, because right before this, we get the brink of a wrinkle in time, bittersweet 16 suddenly, and all of a sudden she's transported. And
Do you
here
think
I
we
feel
time
like,
traveled?
I mean, I think that's literally what she said in those 2 lines. No, but I think it could be this moment of like imagining, like, what if I'm almost imagining you in my life at that time? So like, to me, we're almost like going into a fantasy here. Like, what if you could go back to what a typical day was when I was in high school and just like inserting that person into my life?
I never saw it that way. It's interesting. Like,
I think it was a very universal thing in that I think every high schooler watched American Pie at some point, regardless of when they're in high school.
I've never seen American Pie.
I don't remember.
You've never seen American Pie? I guess that's what we're doing on Saturday.
Bro. Dude.
Don't watch it. It's such a weird movie.
Have a more potentially explicit question. Are these all happening at the same time? So are they watching American Pie on a Saturday night with his friends and she has to be quiet because she's trying to stifle her sighs? Are things happening under a blanket on a couch while friends are
Yes.
around?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That
was my
take.
question.
Yes.
Great. I was curious. Is this
I
two
feel
separate
so high school
moments?
because I'm embarrassed by these these insinuations. So my cheeks are pink.
I don't know how many other interpretations there are. I'm open to alternative ideas. I mean, that's what I guess, like, my main question is, like, is this actually happening right now? Or is this a fantasy in her head of something that could have happened?
I feel like it's happening now only because the whole song is so high school. And I think the whole thing is evoking what it feels like to be in high school and less a flashback to a fantasy of high school.
Yeah, and it does say I'm trying to stifle my sighs because I feel so high school every time I look at you.
So she's actively trying to stifle sighs now.
So you're saying it might be like sighs of infatuation, not sighs of stuff happening under the blanket.
Correct. That's in my PG-13 mind. Absolutely.
Okay. Sure. So Monty and I have an interpretation and Jody has a different one.
Let's keep going and see if mine changes.
Well, I also just want to point out before we move on to the next one that I love the line, because I feel so high school every time I look at you. But look at you.
I say that to my dog all the time. But look at you.
That's in another song, too. Doesn't she do that in another song? What's the other song?
She did that on the New Heights podcast.
No, but there's also another. Is it in Gorgeous?
But look at your face.
Yes.
I can't say anything to your face, but look at your face. Yeah,
so,
that's
yes,
very similar. Yeah.
Okay. And then, gosh, I love this next section so much. So I will read it.
Please.
Are you going to marry, kiss, or kill me? It's just a game, but really. Betting on all three for us two. Get my car door, isn't that sweet? Then pull me to the back seat. No one's ever had me, not like you. It is interesting that she makes an insinuation with pull me to the back seat, but then she gives us the PG version of marry, kiss, kill.
So I will say, so that people don't come at us, like, this was referencing like another interview that happened with Travis Kelce. I think he was actually asked to marry, kiss, kill. Yeah. And I think that's also for the word change. So don't come at us for ignoring that part. But yes, like, in the context of the song, I think it's worth calling out that the words are switched from the actual game. They're made more PG.
Yes.
Is appropriate for high school in some ways, even though high schoolers are the ones that play the inappropriate version.
Yes, I did forget about that interview. You're right. That does make more sense.
But what
every time I'm like...
But what I love is, like, she's like, it's just a game, but really, I'm betting on all three for us two. And I think that also pulls us out of she actually in high school, because I don't know, maybe this is my own lived experience. I was like, wouldn't really consider marrying anybody I dated in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, only an idiot would do that.
Yeah. My husband told me 2 months in. So, like, some high school boys are out there thinking about it.
What?
Yeah. Told me 2 months into our relationship that he was going to marry me.
I would have been like, you're a child.
I did say that. Yes, that was my response.
Good for you. Great. As long as we're on the same page.
He just likes to point out that he's been consistent.
Right.
The interesting, though, of I'm betting on all three for us two, one of those isn't great.
But I think it speaks to the reality of an adult relationship, which is it's not
Yeah.
all
Well, I
hearts and
actually,
rainbows and roses. Like, there are fights, there are difficult times, and you're going to feel like, oh my God, I want to kill her right now. But
I didn't think about it in the fighting sense. I actually interpreted this as like, you're killing me. Like, I'm dying here. I'm so in love. Like, killing in a positive, not
look at
like
that.
killing in a fight. Like, you're going to be the reason that I die because you're so amazing. I don't know.
It could also be this
It's
is a
so
stretch, and I
fluffy.
don't
I'm going to
believe this.
die. Sorry.
It's so cute. Cuteness, the number of times cuteness aggression comes up on this podcast.
I don't know. It could also be, and I don't totally believe this as I'm saying it, but I'm going to say it anyways, sort of a till death do us part type of thing of like, you're going to see me until the end.
Yeah.
I don't believe that one as much, but whatever.
Well, I'm betting on all three answers.
I think it's
so.
like, you're killing me because R-rated
You're
things
killing me,
that are
Smalls.
happening.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, I was thinking like R-rated things, like R-rated killing me.
Like the French tiny death thing.
Oh.
Kind of, yeah. But like also just, I don't know. I just feel like that word can be used in like somebody making somebody, like if you're playing games, somebody's making somebody wait, like you're killing me. Like, I don't know. But in like I want it so bad.
Got it. Interesting.
And then she's
So do
being
you?
a gentleman.
I like taking notes.
I'm such a naive person. Get my car door. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, so he's being a gentleman, and then less so.
Then pull me to the back seat.
We are grown
the
adults,
song
and I
that
don't know why
nobody
we're so
asked for,
giggly over
Taylor.
this.
Like literally
Because
nobody
we feel
asked
so
for
high
this.
school. Which was harder to get through, this one or Guilty as Sin?
Oh, this one for sure. We're struggling.
Well, Guilty as Sin, I think, felt just so much more explicit and like
Yeah,
overt, and this one is so much more
This
metaphorical.
is almost like the high school level of perverse, though, which is almost worse because high school level perverse is quite perverse.
It's just like trying to watch American Pie, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable.
Yes. Like,
Yeah.
I just like also something about the fact that it's about their real relationship and they've been like very obvious about that. Like she's been very vocal about what this song is about, I think.
It was
makes
the song on her engagement announcement.
Right, exactly. So like that makes it to me like 10 times more awkward because it's about mom and dad. And I just
your
don't.
parents listening to this?
Exactly.
I hope my mother doesn't listen to this episode. Like,
I just like Taylor, our mother, is writing about our father.
you don't
and
want to
it's
know what your
weird.
mother does behind closed doors
Right.
like that.
Especially the car door.
Yeah. It is interesting because it is definitely like a little romance novel. Like, he got my car door. That's so sweet. And he pulled me into the
Then
backseat.
it's
That was
romantasy.
hot.
It quickly went from romance to romantasy real fast. We've got fourth wing right here.
And then no one's ever had me not like you. I also always assumed that was sexual. I'm
Yes.
going to
It
be
doesn't
honest.
have to be, though.
It
I
does.
mean, and some emotional, but it's coming right after the backseat.
Jody, like, what's your alternative here? This episode is just going to be watch us be so high school as we go through this song.
Can you tell that I was the prude in high school?
Oh my God. To be fair, I was also a prude in high school, but then
You're
I went
like,
to grad school and it broke me.
I was going to say, there's literary value here. We're going to explore this from a...
Hey, there's a lot of sexual things that have literary value.
Yeah, that
It does
Canterbury
remind
Tales
me-
is raunchy as F.
It does remind me a little bit too of in Friends when everyone knows that Monica's dating a secret person and it's Chandler, but no one knows who it is. And Rachel makes a comment that Monica said that this guy was the best she's ever had. And Chandler's like, if I was that guy, this is what I would do. And he gets on a table and starts dancing. That's how I imagine Travis hearing this song and be like, yes.
I love it. Okay, and then we get to my favorite line. Truth, dare, spin bottles. You know how to ball. I know Aristotle.
Can we just talk about the fact that Taylor's parents had to listen to this song?
They had to watch her perform vigilante shit.
Vigilante shit's
that
not
was
bad.
almost less bad because it was a performance, but this is literally about her fiance.
They
live together. They know.
Yeah, but you don't want to like hear it. You might like know what happens, but you don't want to
Okay.
think about it.
Sorry.
One time, now I'll share the
This
story.
is
I'm
a
not
recorded
embarrassed by it.
podcast that goes out to the world, so be careful what you
fine.
say.
It's totally fine. So Chris and I were both raised in Christian homes, which like neither of our families are super prudish, but like still not something you like talk about a ton. And I remember like 6 months after we got married, we were at my in-laws' house and his mom was making like chicken breast for something, and something came up and my mother-in-law in front of both of us goes, "You're a married man, Chris. You've seen breasts." And I was just like, "I'm leaving. I don't want to be here anymore. I can't do this." I think I just walked out of the kitchen. I was like, "Nope."
We're leaving now.
It's so funny.
I think that was also the same trip where she was telling me that she remembered breastfeeding Chris, and I was like, I can't do any of this right now. I think it was a sincere attempt of like bonding and openness, but I was like 22 and not at a place for that.
You're like not that far from being
Like, that's also
and you're still an adolescent, I think.
I would be better received now.
truth, dare, spin, bottles. You know how to ball. I know Aristotle. So we've got more high school party games.
Yes. Classic truth and dare.
Truth or dare, spin the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know how to ball. I know Aristotle. The number of people I had to explain this to on TikTok, I think that's our most watched TikTok with almost 300,000 views.
I would
It is Troy and Gabriella. You were right with that.
It's absolutely
comparison.
Troy and Gabriella.
I would like to give a shout out to the choreographers for the Eras tour for this particular choreo. It's incredible. One of my favorites.
Is building on what we discussed last week, how High School Musical was so much about like breaking up the cliques and, you know, people are complex and nuanced and stuff. But it also does feel very high school. The idea of the jock dating the actual like nerd is not really a actual thing that happens a ton in high school. I'm sure it does, but it's
She's all that.
They don't often run in the same circles.
That's an incredible movie. Freddie Prinze Jr.
I watched it recently because a bunch of my friends who are just a few years older than me told me that I needed to watch it because I had somehow missed it. And I watched it.
Of course it doesn't hold up. It's about making the nerd look hot.
It was really bad. No,
and
it's
she has
not even
no
that,
value
Jody.
and no one looks at her until she's hot.
No, but it's
they
also
take off her glasses and you're like, you're stunning. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Bad writing, bad plot, and just like embarrassing all around. They were embarrassed that they showed it to me, so I felt really validated.
I feel comfortable that you two are fighting again. This is good for me.
Jody,
you know how to ball. I know Aristotle.
But the point I was making is it does feel like that adult version of, hey, and I don't even think it's prejudice in high school, but it's just the basketball player and the person who's in like honor society are likely not, you know, running into each other that often.
Run in different circles.
Exactly.
Like you're studying while they're in.
So it's an adult throwback of this is who we were in high school. And then again with her post, your English teacher and gym teacher are getting married. She really leaned into this.
Yeah. To the intellectual side of things. And I think people were like, why didn't she call herself the music teacher?
Because she's an English teacher, AP.
Because welcome to our podcast. Yeah.
And then the next lines, though, back to Jody's point, I think your argument's falling apart, Jody. Brand new, full throttle. Touch me while your bros play Grand Theft Auto. How do you make this PG, Jody?
Where are they touching? Their thigh. They're touching their thigh.
They're just saying boop, boop.
We're holding hands while your bros play Grand Theft Auto. You only need one hand for that controller. He's got big hands.
Can we please make a PG version of this song? Like,
pull me to the backseat. The backseat is safer, guys. The front seat is dangerous.
Put her into a car seat.
They're just doing the fingertips.
I mean, explain the next line. It's true, swear, Scout's honor. I don't know if you guys know this, but my brother was a Boy Scout, and the Scout's honor has 3 fingers. Just FYI.
Full throttle. Oh my god.
Who is it?
Okay.
Because you're gonna have some decisions to make.
I do want to go back to the brand new Full Throttle because it is obviously referring to Grand Theft Auto, like it's playing with that car imagery. But are we thinking that it's just like the relationship is brand new, but it's moving fast, or like they're all in?
What else do you rhyme with Aristotle?
Bottle.
Yeah.
We already rhymed it with bottle.
Waddle.
Waddle? Yeah. You're fit, no waddle? Like what?
Toddle.
Rough Night had a waddle. I don't know.
Coddle. Could have coddled her.
I think it's the relationship went
I
full
think so
throttle.
too. That's what I think so too.
Yeah, and it's a nice tie-in to Grand
Yes.
Theft Auto.
We're just being children at this
Yeah,
point.
we
But
are
yes.
brand new, and we went full throttle into this relationship.
Okay. And then it's true. Scouts
Scout's
honor.
honor. No need to explain that line.
I'm crying a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Ooh, wee.
You knew what you wanted, and boy, you got her. Brand new, full throttle. You already know, babe.
I always loved the you knew what you wanted and boy, you got her, which, like, we all know what the reference in her real life is, but also referring to the idea of, like, a man pursuing you is great.
Great.
Like, that's a man saying, this is what I want and going for it, not respecting boundaries,
Yeah.
not in a creepy way, but just taking initiative, planning things, like how much of that matters in the early relationship, and her calling out, you knew what you wanted and boy, you got her. I just always thought it was such a
I
great
also
line.
like the repetition of brand new full throttle after. To me, it's also describing her now. Like first it was their relationship going in full throttle, but to me it's like you get a new version of her. Like she was just hot off her Eras tour, full throttle. Like no holding back, no timidness. Like here's the superstar, megastar, or whatever. Like you get like the best version of her in some ways. And then you already know, babe. I guess that's an inside joke just for them.
Always a s-
It's going to be my favorite answer now. Like, we can't figure it out. That must be an inside joke.
I assumed you already know, babe, was like, I love you. Like, you already know
Right.
how I feel about you.
Or you already know where this is going full throttle.
Yeah. And then our next section, which I will read all of it again. I feel like laughing in the middle of practice. Do that impression you did of your dad again. I'm hearing voices like a madman.
Song is taking an interesting turn here.
Why are you hearing voices?
I know, I don't understand that one. But the first two are sweet.
Yeah.
I feel like laughing in the middle of practice. So, like, you're doing something serious, but, like, you just want to
You're
laugh.
having a good time. Yeah, you feel really good and giddy.
He does a really funny impression of his dad that
Yep.
you enjoy.
Yep.
Great.
Cool.
Is hearing
I'm
voices
hearing-
a thing we do in high school? Like, this is the
I mean,
first
I
thing to
think
me that doesn't
maybe-
feel like high school.
Well, I feel like maybe it's about the impression. Like, if it's like, do that impression of your dad again, like maybe it's like,
Yeah.
you're
like
also
you
doing
have to-
voices.
Yeah.
And I'm like constantly hearing the different voices.
Or
that
maybe it's the
you-
inner voice of her saying, do that impression again. Like, they're in the middle of practice. It's saying, I feel like laughing. So she's almost having an internal dialogue in her head in the middle of practice, right?
Yes.
Like, she's laughing at a joke she made because she's like, do that impression again. And like, they're in the middle of practice. So none of this has actually happened.
You think it's like a memory. She's like, she's in her space and he's in his, but she's like remembering asking him to do
I don't even
that
think it's a
impression again.
memory. I think she's like acting out their relationship in her head while they're in completely different scenarios. And I think that
Well-
might be the voices.
Well, if I can make a stretch and compare it to a song that we don't talk about that often on this podcast, in Enchanted, she does have the line, my thoughts will echo your name until I see you again. And I think it could be that of like, I'm hearing
Echoes.
voices like a madman of like, I'm hearing our memories. I'm hearing my thoughts about you. I'm hearing the plans I'm making for us to do the next
Yeah.
time we get to hang out. Like I'm in the middle of practice and I can't stop thinking about everything we've done and we will do and how I feel about it and how much fun this is and
The
all
inner
of that
dialogue
stuff.
of like,
Yeah.
you're busy doing something else. And here I'm like acting out in my head how we interact. Like we have a dialogue going.
And the rest of the song is the same.
Yeah, it repeats.
Yeah. So there's no bridge in this song. It's bridgeless. Just
There is a refrain.
there's a refrain.
Yeah. It is interesting.
But it's not a traditional song structure.
Yeah.
I do think the first two lines, I feel so high school every time I look at you. I want to find you in a crowd just to hide from you. If I'm recalling this correctly, is musically slowed down and musically similar to I feel like laughing in the middle of practice. Do that impression you did of your dad again. I'm hearing voices like a madman. I wonder if that is almost bridge-esque in that it is a different tone to the rest of the song. Musically, it's slowed down and
Really?
it's just because if we think of this as I'm imagining the future or I'm thinking about what we are, I'm in the middle of practice and I can't stop thinking about you. And I feel so high school and I just want to find you in a crowd just to hide from you. That it's sort of this like, we start out with that refrain of, I feel like I want to find you in a crowd and hide from you. And then having that same musically later really shifts it to, I'm imagining everything we have done or will do.
To me, I think our verses, the closest thing I think we have to a bridge is the "Are you gonna marry, kiss, or kill me?"
Yeah, that's
Because
true
that's
too.
I mean, I think Genius Lyric calls it an interlude, but whether it's an interlude or a bridge, it is a musical shift, and there
Yeah.
is also a shift in the like, lyrically and in the story because you're saying that, like, this is just a game, but really I'm betting on all 3 marry, kiss, and kill, like, this is a real thing. So even though this song is talking about her feelings of feeling so high school, it feels real and no one's ever had me not like you.
I think the silence between the stanzas is really where the bridge comes alive.
Mm,
Just kidding.
yeah. I think
Like,
it's in what she doesn't say.
I think it's in between the lines.
I mean, to be fair, she always uses the bridge in her music as
A
a
shift.
transformation and a shift. Something always changes. Where the song starts, it goes somewhere else.
It's never
And
changing.
here, nothing's changing. This could be
Yeah.
our new
Yeah.
sense of constant and a new steady state.
Good point.
And so, if there's no shift, that's a choice that I think she's made here, that nothing's changing.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. Are we ready for our purposes?
I think her purpose was to be dirty and to
It was for Monty to point out that the Boy Scout salute was 3 fingers.
Yeah, I will go first. I think that this is definitely, I mean, there are songs where I think you can separate the author from the story. I think there is no story outside of what is happening in the author's line in this particular instance. I think it's been clear because there's no death of the author if the author is like straight up told you what it's about. A lot of times artists don't do that because they want you to understand a piece of art as it is. I think in this particular instance, she's been pretty clear about that. But one thing I'll also say is I do think that going back to where this conversation started, I do think that the purpose of the song is to evoke certain feelings. She starts off, the title is so high school. She starts off saying, I feel so high school. And then to me, it's like a thesis, kind of. It kind of does read to me like a thesis where she is stating the thesis. Thesis is, I feel so high school, and then proceeds to explain for the rest of the song what it means to feel high school. And so you're getting a bunch of examples of things that people may relate to that are quite literal of things from that high school time. And it's incredibly effective. I mean, we were halfway through this song and we were giggling like teenagers. And I think that is the intention. She wanted us to feel that feeling. And
yeah.
so the song in some ways is about her feeling like so high school and talking about a feeling, but I think there was also this goal to make other people feel like they're so high school so they can get a taste of that. And it like you feel it in this song. And I think that's why so many people love this song.
I agree and I disagree. I agree. I'll start with where I disagree. I disagree that you can't separate the author here because I do think that regardless of whatever she wrote the song about and what the experience is for her, which I don't disagree that we know that this is her lived experience, I do think the song still has a purpose and a value outside of someone's own personal experience of why they wrote the song because of exactly what you said, where we are all giggling. And as someone dating as an adult that didn't marry someone I dated in high school, I feel these emotions when I do meet someone that and have a crush, and you do get taken immediately back to high school. And there's it's a very weird feeling to feel emotions that you felt at 16 when you are more than twice that age. And you have fully developed frontal lobes and you're like, "Oh my god, why do I feel the same, like, excited panic that I did in high school? I'm no longer a child." Um, so that's the one point I disagree, but I agree with you completely. The song is about feelings and is about evoking those feelings, and I think what's particularly interesting, and I think where I would elaborate further on the purpose of this song, is to show how different the real feelings of falling in love are from what she thought it was going to feel like when she actually was in high school, when she thought it would feel like a fairy tale. Instead, what it feels like are these very everyday
Real thing.
moments, real things that are very tangible and not princes and princesses and flowers and horses, which she sort of acknowledged in high school, like in White Horse, that, this ain't a fairy tale. I'm not a princess. But I don't think this is her really acknowledging that you don't need to feel like a fairy tale. In fact, what feels so much better are these everyday moments of opening up my car door, and everything else that is happening in the song.
I agree with all of that. I think the only thing I'll add to look at Taylor Swift in particular, which I think a lot of women can generally feel this. Like I mentioned, we have other songs like Mastermind that are about her controlling the situation. And what's so interesting about this song to me, this song So High School, it's just happening. Like, she's not
Mhm.
controlling it. Boy, you knew what you wanted and you got her. Like, the only person who really pursued anything
It's
was the
him.
you.
Yeah.
And it's so different how I'm not falling, I'm sinking. I'm like just being cushioned, I'm being engulfed, I'm being consumed, but in kind of a gentler way than falling or controlling or manipulating or whatever word you want to use. This is a song where and that's how it feels in high school too. As manipulative as we think we could be in high school, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm gonna go look for you in a crowd just so I can hide from you. Like, that's the extent of like high school trying to make a relationship happen. You just show up where they are and you kind of hope things happen. It's just so much more like you just kind of things one thing leads to another, it's just so much more casual, so much less intentional in a lot of ways. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but just things happen and it's exciting and you just kind of progress and see what's next. And the fact that
You're not overthinking things.
yeah, and the fact that the line is it's just a game, but really I'm betting on all three for us too is also a lack of control. She's betting,
Right.
it's just a game. It's just so much more casual. It's just a totally different tone about relationships. And it does harken back to that more simple thing of if you ask, I mean, obviously he pursued her, but if you asked this person, and we know it's Taylor, but if you ask her how this happened, it would be like, it just kind of happened, like that's even kind of what it sounded like on the New Heights podcast when they did discuss it. And it's just a massive shift for her narrative around romantic relationships. And it's so wild that she is hearkening back to high school and what feels like one of the most mature takes on a relationship. I will say the only thing I will say is this is such a fun song about the start of a relationship and how you feel. To make a high school metaphor over and over, like I would assume that more maturity comes after this, but I think that that is assumed. I don't mean it in a negative way, but it is one thing to say I feel so high school. That's so great. It's innocent. It's wonderful. I hope that adult relationships move past feeling
Right.
high
This
school
is
at a
clearly the
certain point.
beginning of a relationship
Exactly. Yeah.
versus like, yeah, the continuation of the relationship.
Yeah, I only say that as if I was a high school student hearing the song, I'd be like, "Oh, this is how it's supposed to
And
feel."
it's
And
like,
it's like,
no.
yes, yes and no. Of you won't feel giddy all the time, and
Right.
that's okay.
Yes.
I think,
Chapter 2 is Life of a
yeah,
Showgirl.
right.
So
By the time we have this
Oh my gosh!
episode out.
Speaking of that, I didn't mention in our High School Musical episode that I've seen so many people taking the image of Sharpay singing "Fabulous" in the pool from High School Musical 2 and putting "Life of a Showgirl" over it.
Okay, well, you're clearly going to do the
Okay,
promo for that episode, and that will be the
but
promo.
my gosh. Okay.
All right. Go assign yourself as promo. The only other thing I want to say about this song or the conversation I want to have, people were really upset people that she used this song to announce her engagement as opposed to Love Story because people thought, why wouldn't you use he knelt to the ground and pulled out a ring
I feel like
versus,
it's so obvious.
well, yes, because this one's about them, but I would go a step further and say that Love Story is what she idealized a relationship to be when she was in high school, and this is what it's actually about. Also, Romeo and Juliet is not a love story that you want to emulate.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking more of just like, that was such a fantasy. It was also like, had to convince the dad, and kneels to the ground, pulls out a ring. But yeah, like the ode to Romeo and Juliet, it feels non-realistic. And this is one of the realest things that's happened to her. Yeah. So why would you use a fantasy song?
I just wanted to take this opportunity for us to put in our 2 cents because I knew we would all agree. But it's a very AP Taylor Swift take because a lot of people were like,
I think you mentioned it, Jody, about how the song is just so real and not as grounded in the fantasy of Fearless. And to me, that's the reason.
I'm really glad we had this analysis and the Scouts honor in the same episode. We have range.
You've been changed.
Get you a podcast that can do both.
All right. Well, we will get some sleep before we record again, so maybe we'll be more emotionally stable. I guarantee nothing. But either way, join us next week as we overanalyze and deep dive more Taylor Swift music.
That's all we have for you today on AP Taylor Swift. Be sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on your social channel of choice at AP Taylor Swift to stay up to date. And join us next time as we overanalyze and deep dive into the next Taylor Swift song on AP Taylor Swift.